Hey guys, I don't really know where I'm going to end up going with this video. It's going to be like really deep, not Scentsy related, right? So I wanted to talk a little bit about some stuff as I'm winding down, having a baby here soon. Second baby. First baby is my beautiful, amazing 5.5-year-old boy. Oh my gosh, I think I'm going to cry. I shouldn't be doing this while I'm pregnant. I should wait. Okay. I was like, I'm not going to cry. I'm like a total BA and I'm not going to cry. I just wanted to talk a little bit about, having a baby and pregnancy and things that I feel like either don't get talked about soon enough or are kind of made not to be a huge deal until it's too late. Not even too late, because you can get through anything if you choose to. But I know, like with my son, and very differently now so far with this baby. When I had my son, when I got pregnant with him, I think I was 23. I was a baby. I didn't realize how much of a baby I was until I was able to kind of look back on the whole thing. I was not an adult. I didn't feel like an adult after I kind of looked at everything from a different angle. But either way, he was not a surprise, but a surprise. We kind of we had been married for 1.5 years and we were looking at houses, and I mean, what's next, right? You have a baby. That's what everyone does. Everyone has a baby. Duh. That's what's next. What else are you gonna do? So we decided, hey, we're gonna have a baby. And we got pregnant really fast with him. We didn't even really try more than once, I'm just saying. And everything seemed really cool. But I remember having the pregnancy test, and seeing that little digital "you're pregnant" reading, and I just cried. And I don't know why I cried. I was like, why am I crying? Why am I so upset? And I just remember being so scared and so nervous, and I never really got through that. I was able to do all the fun, get your mind off of it things, sorry, I'm really a mess. This is what babies do to me. You go buy stuff for baby. Oh my gosh, you go buy cute outfits. Oh, I should go look at car seats. I should go do this. I should get on a mom forum, and I should just read about all these things that are going to happen. And you just get so wrapped up in the details, and you don't really think about the emotion behind a lot of it. Yeah, you hear, oh, you're so hormonal, you're just grumpy, you're going to be all over the place and stuff like that. But you don't really know how to describe how you're feeling. And with my son, I was really depressed and didn't really realize it. I was depressed the whole time I was pregnant with him. I don't even know if there's a thing called prepartum depression, because I haven't Googled it, but I'm pretty sure that if it does exist, that's what I had. I remember this weird feeling that I just hated being pregnant. I was scared of everything. I was scared of the whole thing. And I hated it. And I had contractions with him for 4 weeks at the end. And it was just one of those weird things where I had this realization that he was going to come out, and I was terrified of it. And for 4 weeks, I had these contractions that didn't do anything, and, dilated to 4 for 4 weeks. And it was just really rough towards the end. And I was tired and all that kind of stuff. And then it only got worse from there. I mean, honestly, and I know this isn't true for everybody, but I'm afraid that it's true for more people than not. I think it's one of those things that people just don't talk about because they just don't really know how to talk about it. And it's weird. I know that I had postpartum depression. I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know I had it when I had it. I didn't seek help. I didn't realize I had it. Nobody was really around to notice it for me either. I probably wouldn't have listened to them even if they were. I'm happy that I know what it looks like now, versus, not knowing, I guess, and being surprised by it later again. But I just remember it started the moment he was born, and they handed him to me, and I looked at him and I didn't know who he was. And I just looked at him and I was like, this is the wrong baby. I know that physically this just came out of me, but there's no way this one's mine. He does not look right. He's chubby. He's not cute. He has a cone head. He's crying and he's puffy and he's fat and I don't know what to do with him. And I was scared for that moment. I was like, what do I do? And they're like, we should start trying to breastfeed. I'm like, why would I want to do that? Why would whose baby is this? Whose baby is this? Like, I know it's too early for you to have given me someone else's baby from the nursery, but this isn't what I pictured. This baby has no features of what I've pictured in my head for the last 9 months of what they're going to look like. And it just shocked me. Like, it was just weird. I looked at him and I was like, you're not mine. I don't know who you are. I had a baby. Like, what is this? And it was just the weirdest feeling. He was a stranger. I didn't know who he was. And then they were like, hey, you should breastfeed him. And I'm like, why would I want to do that? I don't know who this baby is. And it just got worse. We sent him to the nursery every night. We tried to kind of like feel like maybe we didn't have a baby and try to get like the last few nights and just us hanging out, because I just was like, I don't think we can do this. I don't think we can do this. I didn't want to look at him. I never really looked at him. I didn't really study him. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do with this thing. And it wasn't mine. This baby wasn't mine. I swore it wasn't. And then, your 3 days are up at the hospital and they send you home with this baby. They don't ask you questions. They don't come check your house. They just trust that you know what to do with a baby. And they just assume, hey, you know what's next. Here you go. Take them home. Have a blast. Figure it out. And I know they try to help you and they give you these baby classes and all these things and telling you about what's going to happen. And you just get home and you go, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm lost. I remember we walked in the door and we put his car seat in the middle of the floor and just looked at the car seat forever, because we were like, what do we do now? Do we pick it up? Like, do we pick up the baby? Do we take him out of the car seat? Do we wait till they wake up? Like, does it need to eat? Is it okay if I go to the bathroom? Like, can I do the dishes? Like, it was just the weirdest thing ever. And I just feel like it was one of those moments that it's hard to describe. And it's just not something people talk about. I think everyone always talks about the cute outfits and the outfit you're going to take them home in and all these cute things that they're going to wear in the nursery and all the cute stuff that you're going to buy for them. And nobody really talks about the baby, when the baby comes and what's going to happen to you, especially your first baby. And it just got worse from there. I remember every night, they're like, sleep when the baby sleeps. Okay, that's not something you can actually do. I'm just being honest. At least for me, and this is probably part of the depression, I don't even know what part was normal and what part was just me not being quite, I don't know, who knows? So I just remember every night, like, I would wake up in a panic, cold sweat, looking for my baby. I couldn't find him anywhere. So most nights when he was sleeping, I couldn't sleep because I was too afraid he was going to wake up anyway. So I was like, I'd try to lay down, I'd try to get settled, but I'd be like, he's just going to wake up. He's just going to wake up. He's just going to wake up. And I could never settle and I could never fall asleep. I was too scared to sleep because I didn't want to be jolted awake. Which is going to happen, period. This child's going to wake you up, and you're not used to waking up to somebody else. You're used to waking up to like an alarm or something that's predictable. So it's a really, really crazy shock to you. Even if you couldn't really sleep in pregnancy. I mean, I can never sleep when I'm pregnant. It's so different when it's a baby. It's just different when they're crying and when they need something and you don't really know if you're going to be able to get them to stop crying. I remember every time he'd breathe, it'd wake me up. It would just be like, it was just, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't settle. I couldn't relax. And then if I did catch myself accidentally falling asleep, like I said, I would think I accidentally fell asleep on my baby, or that the baby was in bed, or that I didn't put him away the right way. And I would tear my bed apart looking for my baby, and then I'd look over and realize he was asleep in his bassinet still. Cold sweats, freaking out. And then of course I can't sleep after that because I just panicked and I'm all worked up, and then now I know the baby's going to wake up anytime anyway, so you just can't sleep again. So you're just not going to sleep. We couldn't sleep. We were delusional. I remember there would be days where I just couldn't wait for the sun to come up because I hated the night so much. I hated knowing I wasn't going to be able to sleep anyway. So I was like, can the sun just come up? I'm sitting at my coffee and I just need to move on. I need to move on. I need to move on. We need to get, I don't care. I don't want to sleep. I don't want to sleep. I just need to get up. I need to get going. And then like, it just didn't get any better. It just kept, that cycle continued and continued and continued. And I never felt like we ever had relief of it. And then my husband and I both hated each other because he couldn't sleep. Because, I mean, we sleep in the same room as the baby. It's not like when the baby cries, just one of you wakes up. No, you both do. Even if you're the one getting up and feeding the baby or getting, diaper changed, they still woke up. They're still tired. And we would try to share the responsibilities and things like that. And it just doesn't change anything. You're both tired, but then you start getting mad at each other because you're both tired, and that person doesn't want to let you sleep because they're tired. You don't want to let them sleep because you're tired, and then you just start hating each other. Like, that was, at least for us, it was probably the hardest thing we've ever done to our marriage, was having a baby. We hated each other. There was days I was just like, can I just do this alone? I don't want you here. You are in my way. I can't stand you. You smell weird. I don't want to look at you. Like, I don't want you. I don't want you at all. And I know that it was mutual. We just couldn't stand each other. And it was just, we were wrecked. We were just completely wrecked. We had this person in our house. We couldn't do whatever we wanted. It's not that we wanted to do whatever we wanted, but you know what? It's weird the moment you are no longer just you. And so I just remember there would be days where I'd wake up and the baby would be crying inside, and I would just go lay in the yard crying, hoping, and this is part of the postpartum depression because this is going to get gross, and I'm sorry, hoping that I'd come inside and he would be gone. Like, that this was all a dream. That that his parents would finally come and pick him up. And then sometimes even worse thoughts than that. I was never dangerous to my baby. I was never going to hurt him. But sometimes I was hoping that someday this just wouldn't be my life anymore. And I remember, since I was breastfeeding, that was basically the only thing that ever kept me coming back home. I remember when I went back to work, I would get off work and I would sit in the parking lot at work for a really long time debating whether or not I was actually going to go home, or if I was going to drive and just never come back, because I knew that if I went home, the cycle continued, and I had to deal with this stranger living in my house who I didn't like. I couldn't stand him. And this is the baby now. I could not stand my baby. I hated my baby. He ruined my life. And that sounds so selfish, but I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean like, oh my gosh, I want to go party. I wasn't a partier. It was just a weird feeling. Like, he didn't ruin my life. I wasn't doing anything exciting before him. It was just, I was so wrecked. I hated my husband. I hated everything. I didn't want to be around. I never wanted to come home. And breastfeeding was the only thing that kept me home, because I knew that this stranger living in my house was going to die if I didn't go home and breastfeed him. I don't know whose baby this was, but for some reason I was in charge of him. And it was just awful. It went on for months. And then, of course, he ended up being colicky, which I don't really know if I even believe in colic, or if it was just me not doing enough to read. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but he cried all the time. He never slept. And we were just really alone. We just felt so alone, and we didn't realize that this was even a possibility after the baby was born, that we would be this low and this shaken by this whole thing. And it's just one of those things I feel like nobody talks about. And people are just so excited to get the baby home. They think it's all going to make it better, and they just picture this cute little baby and those cute little noises and the way babies smell and newborn outfits and just cute accessories and big bows in their hair and their cute nursery and all that kind of stuff. And you know what? Some of that stuff, that is real. They look adorable. They smell great sometimes. But it's just not anything like you're imagining, especially if you've never had a baby before. It's not anything like you're imagining. If you have people around you to help you and support you, it'll feel different. It'll probably be a lot different than what we experienced. But it was just so crazy. I felt like we were blindsided by this, that it was like this weird secret that nobody wanted to say or tell you about. And they were so ashamed of feeling it themselves that they didn't want to tell you how they felt about their babies. You know what? I want to tell you how I felt about my baby. I hated him. I hated everything about a newborn. We couldn't wait for him to grow up. And it's so funny because when they do, you just want to go back to that phase. It's not that you forgot about it. It's you feel guilty because you didn't savor it in any way. But if anybody knows me, you know that how completely obsessed I am with my child. There was one day, I think when he was about 5 or 6 months old, I was nursing him, just numbly, boring, like I always did. I didn't really care about it. I just did it because I had to. And I was rocking him to sleep and nursing him, and I just looked down at him, and I fell so hard for him. I was in love with him. I didn't know that I wasn't to begin with. It was like at that very moment I had realized that for the last 5 months I was horribly depressed. I was feeling extremely crazy emotions, and that finally I looked at him and realized this kid is mine. His parents aren't coming to come pick him up. He's mine, and I am suddenly madly in love with him, and I didn't even know it. And everything was different. And I know that some people aren't going to have that one moment that changes everything. It was that moment where I said, oh my gosh, I wish I had known I would have gotten help. But ever since that moment, the kid is my he's my gravitational pull. He is almost 6. He's 5.5. And it's just one of those really cool things. Like, I feel like it kind of changed. It changed for me, and then it changed for my husband eventually as well as he continued to grow up. Once we fell in love with him and realized how cool this kid was and how much we truly were helplessly, madly, impossibly in love with this child, we just couldn't get enough of him. Everyone's like, why do you guys have such a huge age gap? I was like, we were having so much fun. We didn't want to add anything else. We just wanted to keep hanging out with our kid. He's so cool. If anyone's met my kid, he's pretty cool, and I'm probably really biased, but he's my whole world. He's my gravitational pull. I can't imagine the loss of a child. I see people going through that, and it just completely shatters me because I don't know how you come back from that. And I know people do, and I think they are the most powerful, most incredible people in this whole world. And to think that when my child was little, I used to wish those kinds of horrible things on him. It's just the weirdest thing being a parent. And I think it's just one of those things that you think you know what to expect, and people try to tell you what it's going to be like, but it's so crazier than you're ever going to know. And I definitely speak from a place that some people don't ever get to. I mean, I was very, very depressed, and I'm very excited about this new baby. I'm not depressed during pregnancy like I was with my son, but I'm cautiously expectant for her. I'm nervous that it's going to be similar to last time, but I'm thankful for my experiences because I'm going to know what to do. I'm gonna know what my triggers were. I'm gonna know those feelings, and I'm gonna know what that's gonna look like, and hopefully maybe get help if I need it. I just am so thankful, though. We were told we couldn't have any more children. I'm so thankful we get to, and I get to try this again, and I get to feel like maybe my experiences meant something, and that I can do better this time. Not that I will do any better, because it's probably going to still be completely crazy. But I'm really excited to try again, if that makes sense. I'm excited to have a second chance at something that I felt like I wasn't ready for the first time. So just trying to put that out there. I don't care if anyone watches this. It kind of got long, but I just wanted to put it out there. I've always wanted to write it down, and I have never put it out there. And I repeat myself a lot to small, in conversation with random people here and there. But I was like, I just need to put it out there. If you think less of me, go for it. I don't care. You guys, anyone who knows me knows how impossibly in love with my son I am, how completely ridiculously obsessed with him I am, and my husband is, which our marriage is about 4 billion times better than it was when we were 23 and 24 and having babies. And I'm excited for this one because we're all in a better place, and we have my son, who's kind of our anchor now. He's our proof that we can do it. We did it before we got through it, and we're excited to get a second chance and to really be able to enjoy her in a way that we may not have been able to with my son. And if everything is exactly like it was last time, I'm just so thankful that God is giving us the opportunity to maybe do it differently. And I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for the people we have around us now that we've met through our son, and I'm just thankful for all of it. I'm thankful for the experience of it, but I hope that maybe just one person is not terrified by hearing this, but hopeful in hearing it. I don't care if it's just one person. So just know you're not alone. And I don't care if you don't know me. You can message me. You can talk to me. I don't care. But that's my story, and I just wanted to put it out there. It's 20 minutes. Nobody's going to watch this. But I hope you all have a great day, and if you are pregnant for the first time, I will pray for you because it's rough, but it's the most amazing, magical thing you're ever going to do. So have a wonderful day. I love you all, even if I don't know you. Bye.